deeper dive into that in just a second. First, another update. Congress MP Manickam Tagore has given an adjournment motion notice in the Lok Sabha to discuss the Adani link with the Prime Minister. We'll bring you more details in just a second. My colleague Pallavi is with us. Pallavi, we'll come to you and ask you more questions about yesterday's expunging in just a second. But first, can you bring us more details on Congress MP Manickam Tagore's actions, please?
So despite the Prime Minister's response and a motion of thanks and clearly attacking the Congress party for, always complaining and on the corruption issues, I don't think the Congress party, as we were talking about, has decided to give up its narrative, and which is that they do want those questions to be asked on and answered really on the Adani issue. So we have yet another motion, a notice which has been given by Mr. Manickam Tagore, who's a Congress member of Parliament from Tamil Nadu, and he is essentially saying that there are a couple of questions which need to be answered by the government, and for this purpose there should be a debate and discussion.
Okay, Pallavi, let's move focus very quickly. I do want to understand from you now more about what took place yesterday. As we know, parts of the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's speech that he delivered in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday have been expunged or basically removed from the records of the Parliament, and this is by the orders of the Speaker. Now, we know that Congress leaders have since actually tweeted out pages of those expunged remarks. Can you just explain to our audiences, please, Pallavi, what the process of expunging usually is? In this case, what reason has been given, if any, and what is the Congress's questions here?
So expansion is basically a kind of a check you apply on members of Parliament. So see, everyone who speaks inside Parliament, Toyam, wants their comment to go on record, which means that, tomorrow if you go through the archives, your mention is very much there. So it's kind of protected and safe for posterity and historically, of course. Now, in this case, if the Speaker so feels, and in the case of Rajya Sabha, the chairperson so feels, a particular comment of a member of Parliament, if they feel is a violation of the parliamentary protocol, can be removed from the records. That's called expunction. That's exactly what happened to Rahul Gandhi's questions to the Prime Minister, and that sequence he was trying to draw between the Prime Minister's overseas travel and benefits, according to him, which Mr. Gautam Adani received. Now, the grounds on which the expunction took place was very simple. One, the Prime Minister was not present in the House when those allegations were being made, so he was not there to defend himself. Second, there's no documentary evidence which was backing it up, and therefore there's no reason why Rahul Gandhi should have made those allegations. So now what the Congress is writing to the Speaker is simply about this, is why have you expunged it?
Okay, and Pallavi, could you explain what takes place after such an action? For example, media houses. I know that media houses can't discuss the expunged comments themselves. Obviously, with the proliferation of social media, that's made that slightly tougher. Could you bring us more context?
Well, frankly speaking, you're absolutely right, Toya. And this whole idea of expansion was at a time when there was no social media. So, so it was believed that, you remove it from the archives or the Parliament, so it's gone forever. But now what happens is it often stays in that, that space, the cyber space. But yes, you cannot use it, you cannot talk about it, you cannot write about it, you cannot use that quote. So what happens is that the Congress party would have wanted the focus to remain on the questions which were raised by Rahul Gandhi. That focus can no longer be there. It cannot no longer be debated or referred to or discussed either on the media or outside the Parliament or even inside Parliament.
Okay, Pallavi, stay with us, please. Let's go over now to our colleague Arunima. Arunima, could we come to you now for an overview of the Prime Minister's speech? I know it was 80 minutes plus. Can you walk us through some of the responses that came in publicly, and also behind the scenes, what were the opposition reactions, feelings? What was the government sentiment too?
Well, it was expected that it would be a sharp political rebuttal to all the charges that opposition had made, and opposition's focus was on an allegation of helping one corporate entity. He did not go that route at all. And the opposition was constantly interrupting him. The Congress benches shouted out, Adani, Adani, every time he was coming across a new point. They were in fact carrying placards also with the name of that corporate group. The other members of the opposition also were constantly interrupting him. But the Prime Minister's rebuttal was more nuanced. He spoke about government's policies. He spoke about what the president has said, constantly referred on more than one occasion to the fact that this was a woman Adivasi president. And that talks about how much of the backward sections of our society, sections which have been ignored for 70, 75 years, they are at the heart of the government schemes. He spoke about Kashmir and very carefully and cleverly weaved in the fact that while Congress and Rahul Gandhi started off his speech by Bharat Jodo Yatra mentioned, he says that while Congress party today is celebrating that they went and hoisted the Tiranga at the Lal Chowk, this could not have been achieved if the government of the day had not taken some steps vis-a-vis security in Kashmir, revocation of the Article 370. So he weaved that in as well, talking about Kashmir. He spoke about Northeast. He spoke about the mainstream, the Kisan, the fact that people here are now getting health insurance benefits. They're getting food security as well. So he touched upon political subjects as well and said that, those who are criticizing him are only criticizing because they still, after 2 terms, can't digest the fact that they are sitting in opposition and unable to dislodge the government in power. So he did take political pot shots, but also kept focus on the government policies.
Okay. Pallavi, Arunima, thank you for bringing us that context. We're going to keep an eye on the happenings in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha through the day today too. Right now, it's time for a short break. On the other side, you're still watching the morning news, which means we'll return with all of the country's top stories.